Hey everybody, I'm Dave, and this is a pork chop. Alright guys, got a fun little recipe out of the Primal Blueprint cookbook today for the pork chop. This is a nice little bone-in pork chop that I got down at Whole Foods here. Pretty good looking piece of meat, so I'm excited about that. I've got some barbecue sauce here, which has, you know, basically some minced onions in it. It's kind of a homemade recipe that I like to use. Ketchup, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, a little garlic, salt, pepper, onions, a couple of other secret ingredients. And we have our Dutch oven. So this is a Dutch oven, unlike the other Dutch ovens you may be familiar with. And what this thing is, for those of you guys who don't know what a Dutch oven is, basically this is sort of a big pot that you can actually put in your oven. So it's a flame-proof pot, you can just put it in the oven. So it's a pretty versatile little deal here. And I am going to show you what we're going to do with this. We're basically going to brown that pork chop. Then we're going to add the barbecue sauce with the minced onions and everything in there. And then we're going to cook it for a long, long time, about 2 hours. And when it's done, it's going to be delicious. So there we go. Pork chop time. All right, so I mentioned the Primal Blueprint cookbook. This is the cookbook itself. Of course, the Primal Blueprint by Mark Sisson, you know, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, nutrition books. Mark's Daily Apple, probably my favorite nutrition website. Super informative, easy. This recipe comes out of here. It's the Grandma's Easy Barbecued Pork. You can either use pork shoulder or a pork chop. I have a pork chop going because they didn't have any pork shoulder. So basically we just have this in here. I'm just taking this thing, going to brown it a little bit. Then we will add the barbecue sauce mixture that I showed you earlier. And I've got the oven preheated to 325. As soon as this thing's brown, add that with a little bit of water. Cover it, 2 hours. And there we go. We'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so here's where you really get a feel for the versatility of the Dutch oven. You can cook stuff stovetop, you can just kind of brown stuff, and then, you know, you just add all this in here. And by the way, this is a lot of sauce. You know, probably more than I would typically use. I'm having trouble getting it to taste exactly the way I wanted to. Basically what's going to happen is when we cover this up and put it in the oven, this is going to boil down. So there'll probably be, well, not quite half of that, but, you know, around that amount. So I'm just going to add a little water. It's like maybe half a cup. And then cover it, and in the oven it goes, and I'll see you in a couple hours. Okay, just really quickly as the oven is finishing preheating, I want to talk about cost. Common thing I get is, you know, I just can't eat this way, it's way too expensive, McDonald's is so much cheaper. You know, my first response to that is, this is your health we're talking about. Now, whether you agree with the Primal Blueprint and that a pork chop is actually a healthy thing or not, take that out of it. Cooking your own food is actually much, much cheaper than it is eating out. And you can control what goes in there. I know every single ingredient that is in the food that I'm about to eat. Talk about the cost. Okay, the pork chops. I got 2 pork chops, 2, for less than $5. Okay, the Whole Foods is having a special. Buy one, get one free. So I got 2 pork chops for $5. The first one cost me $5, and the second one was free. So last night I had a pork chop. Tonight I'm going to have a pork chop. That's about what I have invested in this. It's that, an onion, some ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce. I mean, you know, there's not more than $10 invested in this meal at all. Granted, okay, fine, you know, the Dutch oven was an expense, but I use it a lot, and so it's well worthwhile. So, you know, I'm going to put some vegetables on the side of this thing. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, this is a $5 meal, okay? So, what is the price you're going to put on your own health, okay? Control the foods that you're putting in your body by controlling what goes in your food. Again, I know everything that goes in here because I put it all in there. And again, this is really pretty cheap. You can eat well by cooking your own food. It's not that hard. Have a little bit of fun with it. pick up something like the Primal Blueprint Cookbook and cook some stuff. It's fun. I've never been a real cook. My wife is a tremendous cook. I always just sort of have eaten the foods that she cooks. And I've been having a lot of fun cooking these different recipes. The Primal Blueprint enchiladas for a real challenge, but a lot of fun. And so this is kind of along the same lines. And I'm going to shut up now, pop my pork chop in the oven, and hopefully watch Bubba Watson pull out this match against Martin Keimer. All right, so this has been cooking for about 40 minutes. And I've got it on 330. And it should be bubbling, probably just a little bit more than that. May have been a little premature with the water. So I'm going to jack the heat up to 350. And I might just cook it a little bit longer too. I really want this to reduce. That's the thing. I really want that sauce to reduce down. And again, like the longer you cook it, the more this pork chop is going to just get soft. The one I had last night, I mean, it just like, you didn't even need a knife. Just fork split. So anyway, there's where we're at. Okay. So now we're pretty much ready. That is basically what you want. Reduction of sauce. Softening of chop. It's time to eat, kids. Alright, so from this angle you can really see like how much this has reduced. Just kind of by the splash line on what's been going on in the Dutch oven. And that is a fine piece of meat. Something good for me and for the dog. Dog has been running around licking his chops, waiting for this bone, because he got one last night. And needless to say, we're both very excited. So, it's chow time.